Bang. Whew. Where is Rohit sir? Rohit sir, Rohit sir, Rohit sir. Okay, yeah. He's coming, he's coming. Hello, hello, hello. I'm just waiting for Rohit sir. He's coming. 2-3 मिनट में आ रहे हैं. Rohit sir, Rohit sir, Rohit sir. Hello Tanya, hello Awara Musafir, hello friends, hello Sharawiya. You're coming every day. Thank you so much for joining me every day, yaar. Rohit sir is not okay. Rohit sir. आवाज ठीक है? Hello, hello Anup. Hello Dheeraj. Hello, hello, hello. Waiting for Rohit sir, Rohit sir. Hey Jay, how are you, brother? Hello Rohit sir.
Hi Nimit, how are you?
I'm good sir. How are you? आप सो के उठे?
Good.
Don't tell me मैंने आपको उठाया है.
No. I wasn't sleeping. This is me during the lockdown.
Lockdown. That's why you're shooting those fan.
Yeah. Lying down and just shooting up, looking at the sky.
मैं आपके शॉट्स लॉकडाउन में भी थोड़े अलग ही आ रहे हैं. मैं किसी ने वैसा कुछ शूट करके डाला नहीं है, which is something different.
No, I'm not trying to do anything different. I'm just trying to just change the point of view a little bit because you're lying down most of the time. So
Yeah.
so you're looking like a kid, newborn who just keeps looking up. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, guys, for sending me a questions. मैं थोड़े questions लोगों के लूंगा, थोड़े questions मैंने खुद के जो वो हैं मेरे खुद के हैं. So let me start with a very basic question जो मैं सबसे पूछ रहा हूँ. Like मेरे mostly questions ना common है, so that people get an idea कि how the photographers think, like different photographers think.
Right.
So the first question is that when we all started photography, so कोई ना कोई हमारी एक इंस्पिरेशन रही होती है, किसी का काम देख के हम यूजुअली सीखते हैं. तो आपने तो मुझसे कई साल पहले फोटोग्राफी स्टार्ट करी थी, तो who are those photographers जिनका काम आपने देख के you learn या आपकी खुद की इंस्पिरेशन हो, जिनका काम व्यूअर्स देख सकें?
So Nimit, the thing is, when I started, and I think you and I both learned drawing and painting before we learned photography. So when I was learning drawing, or I was in art college, we were supposed to sketch every day, and sketching it was kind of boring. So I thought, let me pick up the camera.
I just love it, sir. I'm just good in sketching.
So for me, camera became a tool where I used that to sketch, basically, to take pictures and, maybe use it for drawing later. And that's how it started. And inspiration in terms of photographers, I mean, for me, there was only Bresson, Henri Cartier-Bresson. And then later on, I mean, I studied a lot of other photographers. I read a lot of books. There's Japanese photographers. I studied a lot of paintings as well, which inspired me to do photography, because it's so interlinked in today's world that you tend to kind of they overlap, painting and photography, because you study so much about light just through looking at paintings, because painters are trying to get the perfect kind of a photograph. So, I mean, to say their composition, they're trying to create the best possible light, and I think
the rules are also same in when we see art rules, everything is same.
Absolutely. So it would be Henri Cartier-Bresson. Bresson's obviously the most famous book is The Decisive Moment.
Yeah.
And the other one is my favorite would be Kodelka. Kodelka is also one of my very.
I'm bad with books, but I will share the name of the book. I will share the name of the book.
And I heard the other day you were looking for the Magnum contact sheets.
Yes.
I have 2 copies. I have 2 hard copies.
Don't tell me.
So whenever I meet you,
I'm sending my drone.
So whenever you want it. And then there's another photographer called Japanese photographer called Daido Moriyama. I don't know if you've heard about him.
Yep.
So I was very I was drawn to his aesthetic. He's very different from the normal other street photographers, so to say. His art is very different, and that kind of inspired me and kind of helped me also. So that what happens is initially you kind of get into that. Okay, this is what I want to do. This is the kind of pictures I want to create. So it was kind of liberating to kind of see Diodo's work, and I have a lot of his books. If you ever wanted, you can obviously borrow them. I have
Anytime, sir.
a full list.
That's all.
I have a
Yeah,
full
sure,
list
sure,
of
sure.
his books, and
Now I
I have
love
a
to
full
read the
collection.
photography books. Oh, great,
Yeah,
sir.
now
I
because you
will.
have time.
Yeah, not now. From last 1 year, I love to read the
Yeah,
books.
yeah. It's
So,
always a good thing.
but
It's always a good
you
thing.
said that you study the street photographer's work a lot in the
Yes,
starting stage. But
yes.
अगर मैं आपकी photography देखूं तो it's not about street. It's about story. Like
Right.
आपकी photograph देख के ना it's like a poem. Like
Mm,
कोई बंदा आपकी photograph देख के उसमें अपनी stories बना सकता है. It's not like street photography like जैसे लोग करते आ रहे हैं. You have a
right.
different kind of style. अगर मैं
Mm,
आपका जो आपका cover photography है, I just love that photograph. That mother is sitting with the child. That
right,
is one of my favorite shot. So
right.
मगी आप उन shots को देख के आप कहोगे this is a street, but that is not just a street. That is like a painting or a poem. तो
So,
आप concept कहाँ से आते हैं आपको ऐसे?
I'm not good at writing. So this is how I write. I mean, I enjoy poetry, but I have no flair for writing poetry. So I use photographs to write or create these poems. What you're talking about. For me, the important thing is you put everything in that picture, right? I mean, you're not trying to just create something because somebody might like it, somebody might share it. You're trying to create a picture which kind of moves you. So there's a lot of emotion involved. So
It
once
should
you
come
have
from the heart.
emotion,
It should come from the heart.
it has to come from the heart, because that's why you want to take pictures. I mean, that should
Okay.
be the reason
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you want to take pictures. If it's not coming from the heart and it's coming from something else, then I think it will take you a long time to get to where other photographers are, at this point of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say poetry, I mean, it's more of a composition thing. You play with the composition in a way, or you look for a content which kind of moves you. So, and it also depends on what stage of life you're going through. So it
Okay.
some change. That's the. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. मेरा नेट खराब है या आपका नेट स्लो है सर?
Okay.
Just आपका.
I can see.
Hello.
I can see you clearly.
नहीं, even I can see myself. Okay, viewers can tell. Okay, so that I can shift to the Wi-Fi. अभी तो सही आ रहा है. Yes, continue.
Okay. So see, poetry is very important to me. I mean, it has the ability to take a person from one place to the other.
Okay.
It's like a beautiful song. Once you hear it, it kind of transforms you. It takes you to a place. You want to sing that song. You want to remember that photograph. It's kind of like that. So you're trying to create, or at least that's the thought process, that it becomes a memory, that you remember that picture or you remember that song. So that's the idea, is to do that, not just do street photography. I'm not a lot into definitions. I feel definitions kind of they work as cages for photographers and for artists, because it's like putting yourself in a cage and saying, oh, this is the only kind of work that I do. But my approach is street. I mean, I'm, to say that it's always candid, and you don't set up your scene. You go out on the street and you take pictures. So the idea is that. So approach is street, and maybe it's poetic. A lot of people have told me it's more like poetry, and I think I'm happy with that.
No,
I
they
don't
are
mind.
like
I don't
poems.
mind.
They are like poems, man. So they are maybe there are some shots जब आप there are some shots जिनको देख के आपके मुंह से निकलता है wow, but कुछ shots ऐसे होते हैं जिनको देख के आपको मुंह से निकलता है काश ये मैंने लिया होता. So आपके कुछ shots are like that कि I wish कि मैंने वो click किया होता.
Right.
So आपने बोला कि you don't want to be in a cage. So उसी से मैं start करूंगा कि you started this new trend, split maybe street in a split screen. So how that is come? How that come?
So you know, me and Vineet have been working on a book. We haven't done a book as yet. And a lot of
Yes.
people have asked us to do a book. So what we do is we keep playing with photographs. We put them on the wall. We see how they look together, right? And when I started doing this was more like, you know, putting two pictures on side by side in a book, you know, in
Yes,
that
yes.
kind of a format. So once I did that, you know, it was more of an experimental thing that, you know, you have like, I'll show you, like you have pictures, you know, so you keep looking at these pictures and you have, you know, so what you're trying to do is kind of see, oh, does this work? Is it going to work like that? You know, just,
Okay.
and
Like,
this is more of a physical process. It's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
it's not a Photoshop kind of process. I'm not trying to Photoshop them. I'm
Making
trying
a
to
book, like designing your own book, ke how it
book.
will look,
Correct,
kaise,
correct,
yeah.
correct. So it's more like, you know, and it was more of a fun project, I think. And now I think people are liking it, and people are kind of saying, oh, this is really interesting, and how two pictures, and these are all from different times. So it's kind of, it's interesting to see how they talk to each other, you know, how your work, which was taken, let's say 15 years back, how it talks to the work that you're doing now, you know. So it's also to kind of draw a relationship. I mean, photography is about you know, forming relationships. So
Farming
it
relationship,
is,
yeah.
yeah, so this is, for me, it's putting them together to see what kind of a relationship they have with each other. Do they even talk to each other? Do they make sense together? It's like, it's like
I think that's
collecting.
why it work more. That's why
Yeah, yeah.
it work
So
more.
so I'm trying to connect the dots, you know. You're trying to connect the dots, and
Yep.
how every stage would have worked, how this photograph would talk to this photograph, and that's the idea. There's no, a lot of people have, I mean, some people say, oh, why do you do it? It's a fun exercise. I have fun. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I'm not in a
Until
cage.
unless you are enjoying it, it's fine.
If I'm enjoying it, I don't think anybody has the right. Nobody has the right to tell you
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
want to do. And
yeah,
like, for example, you do all kinds of photography, and what's the harm? And
yeah.
why shouldn't you do it? You know, why shouldn't you do all kinds of photography? I mean, you have a camera. It takes
Mhm.
pictures. You can take a landscape picture with it, and you can take. Don't I would say putting yourself in a genre kind of makes
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
limited.
that's what I feel ke, like shooting a like I actually adore the people who are specialized in one field, but sometimes I like this, sometimes I like
Mm-hmm.
that. So like it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really
What
matter.
I
It doesn't really
what we
matter.
learn, like as you said कि आपने भी आर्ट किया, मैंने भी आर्ट किया, विनी इट्स सर ने भी आर्ट किया. So the same thing is कि what we learn कि do what you love. That is the main important thing.
Exactly, exactly, and that's how uh, the art also survives through generations. You know, if you don't enjoy it, if you don't create the work that you like, I mean, you'll get bored very quickly. You
Yep,
know,
yep, yep.
you
That
can't last
that
for years, 20 years. You can't.
that's how Van Gogh born. That's how Picasso born.
Exactly. The passion has to be there, you know, that
Yeah.
I want to do this. If there is no passion, you know, and you see a lot of kids these days, they just want to take good pictures. The idea is not to take a good picture, you know. The idea is to have something to say.
Yep.
What do you want to give? What do you want to give the viewer? What is your
Yep. Yep.
dialogue? What conversations do you want to have? Not
That's
just
what you and Vineet sir told me in Murshidabad when we were shooting.
right,
That
right.
you should know when and why you have to press a shutter. That is the main important
Exactly.
thing. Because
Exactly.
anyone can press a shutter, but you have to think when and why. That is the main important thing.
Exactly, exactly. I would say, I mean, I see a lot of people mimicking art today, mimicking, like, you know, oh, this picture works, so I'll take a big picture exactly like that. And it happens a lot on Instagram. You know it, I know it. Once a photograph becomes famous, everyone wants to take that shot. So
Yeah,
it's,
that's
you lose your own voice.
let's yeah, let's not come to the controversial part.
Not so early in the conversation.
Yes. So एक आपने जो अभी जो आपने जवाब दिया उसी में से एक क्वेश्चन और निकल गया जो मुझसे जय ने भी पूछा था कि बिकॉज यू जज सो मेनी कॉन्टेस्ट फोटोग्राफी कॉन्टेस्ट, सो आप जब जज करते हो तो आप क्या फोटोग्राफ में ढूंढते हो कि आपके साथ वो कनेक्ट करे। और एक और फोटोग्राफर, फीमेल फोटोग्राफर ने मुझे भेजा था कि मैं सेम क्वेश्चन हो जाएंगे एक ही में मिक्स, कि what makes a photograph good in a street photograph, like in a street or normally street, what makes a photograph good to you?
Okay, that's a very subjective kind of question, and it depends. See, what happens is over a period of time, if you've been shooting, you've been painting, or you in any creative field, you tend to have a visual kind of knowledge. You create that database of knowledge in your mind, and what is great, what is not great. It is very subjective to you. What you like, I might not like, and what I like, you
Yeah.
might not like. But there is also, like, for example, there is your truth, there is my truth, and there is the ultimate truth that actually exists. So if I can form a informed opinion, not just a biased opinion, right? I can only judge if I have a very informed opinion. I don't care if it's Nimit's picture, or if it's, let's say, Sabi's picture or Jay's picture. If I can judge and look at a picture just for what it is, you know, then I can judge it. So I try to disconnect with everything. I see a lot of pictures. I see more pictures than anybody today,
Yeah.
you know, in different groups, in different competitions, and the criteria remains the same. You're looking for content, you're looking for composition, you're looking for how human the picture is, how what is the photographer trying to say, you know. I'll give you an example. When we were growing up, or when we were studying, and this is going to go back to poetry, you know, we were often asked, what is the author trying to say, you know. We had poems, and you had to say, okay, these are the 4 lines, right? What the or you know, the writer is trying to say. It's the same. So you're trying to read what the photographer is trying to say in that picture. So once you get that knowledge, once you understand that this is what he's trying to say, once you build that visual kind of understanding, and then you can judge all these competitions. You keep yourself totally.
It's all about connect. It's all about connecting.
Yes, connect and also disconnect. You're holding them close and also disconnecting with them, because you don't want to know whose work it is, because then you're biased. Because we all have biases, you know. My likes are going to be different than your likes. It's very subjective. I'm sorry, I didn't get the second part. What did the girl ask? Sorry.
She asked, Maggie, it's the same question, that what makes
what
a
makes
photo good? Street photograph, as a street photograph, because she's a street photographer.
Okay, what makes a great street photographer is, again, like I said, it's a very subjective kind of question. It's a very personal question. You know, what I would say is, in street photography, there's no truth. Okay. So what the truth is basically residing in relationships that you're forming with the background, the subject with the background, and you read a scene very differently. You're trying to discover. You don't try to invent anything in street photography. You know, because you're doing completely candid photography, right? So you're trying to discover something, but at the same time, you're trying to evoke an emotion, and not just simply documenting. You're not simply documenting, because that would be like, okay, I pick up the camera and take a picture. But where's my thought process? What am I trying to show?
So
What am I trying to say? You know, how it's like having a dialogue. If the photograph can have that dialogue with the viewer, then it is a successful picture. If it can kind of create any emotion, whether it makes you laugh, cry, it makes you really sad, then it works.
Okay, so maybe that's why most of the street photographers don't give a caption to their photographs.
Exactly, they don't want to give it's stupid to give a caption, I would say, because it's like kind of providing the answer. You know, it's like you have a question to solve. So in street photography, you're trying to give the audience a question, right? There is a reading. I'll tell you how. So this is how you read a picture. There are 2 kinds of reading in a photograph. The first is the literal reading. You look at a photograph and you say, okay, this has a dog, this has a building, this has sky, this has this. The second reading is provided by the viewer. He uses his intellectual knowledge, you know, his emotions, his upbringing, the movies he's seen maybe, or his knowledge, his database. He uses that and he imposes that on the photograph. Okay. So
Okay,
what
okay,
happens
okay.
is, so that's how the photograph is created, with the gap between the two. So if I'm giving the answer, if the photograph gives you all the answers, there's a person standing in the water. If that's the answer that I've given you, there is nothing that the viewer can do in that.
Can do
He
that.
has
Yeah.
nothing. So he doesn't have to complete a picture. If I can give you a
Then
question,
yeah, okay. Then the main definition of viewer, that view can be removed
exactly,
from that. Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
That's
And
how he view. Yeah.
it's how he sees it. So if
Yeah.
you can close that gap, if you can create, either make it interesting for the viewer to complete the gap, like, oh, and you see it and it goes like, oh, that's
Oh.
nice. So, so that's what you're trying to create with the pictures, and that's what will make it successful. If you can do that, if you can create a picture where a photographer kind of looks at it and says, oh, that's nice, and you've created it, and that nice will be nice for you as a viewer, because you're using your knowledge, so
Yes.
that's what you're trying to create. That's what would make a great picture for me.
Okay. Let me take our first question. Rajesh for
Sure.
film asks exactly what it is you want to say with your photograph, and how do you actually get your photographs to do that?
So what I'm trying, when you go out on the street as a street photographer, and I still put myself into street, there is no motive, there is, and you do probably the same, unless you're going to a hill station to click
Hill station, yeah.
astro.
To
Yeah.
shoot or maybe
So
shoot assignment, yeah.
assignment, exactly. If you're not doing commercial work, when you're going out, the idea is not to create something. The idea come, I mean, you discover it. You reach a scene and you see, oh, that's interesting, let me just go there, and you discover it, and that's the joy, when you discover something, and then you present it to the world and see if they also see it the same way. Do they see it, or do they miss it? It's like, okay, a good photograph, I mean, and this is, I don't know who said it, a good photograph is like, it's a bomb which is supposed to detonate when it comes in contact with the viewer. Okay.
Oh,
So when the viewer
this is a
sees
nice
it,
this is a nice line. Okay, मैंने आज तक सुनी नहीं. I will search कि किसने बोला
I
है.
I have no idea who said it. I read it maybe
I
years
will
back.
Google it.
Okay,
Definitely.
so it's supposed to detonate when it comes in contact with the viewer, because it will blow him away if it's a good photograph. If it's not, it's okay. The bomb didn't go off, So it's kind of, so there's no motive. There is actually no motive. The motive is only to capture candid pictures, human condition, and maybe irony sometimes, maybe something funny. So there's no kind of agenda. You don't have an agenda when you go out. You just want to take pictures or have a good time or to spend time with yourself. So many times you come home without a picture,
Yeah, without a
and
picture. Yeah.
that's fair. And in the entire trip, you might just get one picture. Let's say you go to
One picture.
Varanasi for 4 days, you might come back with 2 or 3 pictures, but that's
Two.
okay.
Yep.
You had a good time. You had a good
Yep.
time. You spent time with yourself. The
You
idea
you
is that.
learn something. You learn something. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's therapy. I mean, it's kind of, it gave you that time to create something. And in times like this, you realize that how important art is, or creation is. If you don't, if no, if there is a person who doesn't create anything at this point, it's very difficult for them to survive. I mean, if you don't have a hobby, if you don't do some art, it's a very difficult time to be
Yeah.
inside the
Yeah.
house and not do anything at all. So the idea is just going out, having a good time, trying to seize life, capture humanity. That's what I would say. That's what I try to do.
Great, great, sir. बहुत ही सही reply है. And Jay is saying कि waiting for your exhibition, hopefully on stolen moments. So I hope कि मैंने भी आपकी exhibition अब तक देखी नहीं है. I'm just waiting for that.
So stolen moments will probably
You started that. You started that thing as well.
see stolen. It's not my title. I didn't invent that word. But yeah, stolen moments will be. I mean, hopefully it comes in a form of an exhibition or a book. But right now I'm taking pictures. I mean, I give a title so that I know which folder to put these pictures in.
Yeah.
Like there
Okay.
is
Okay.
also, I mean, there are ongoing kind of Like there is
they are like the ongoing series.
ongoing series.
Yeah.
So you might, and I don't post all the pictures, because
Yep.
that's,
Yeah, I
you
know.
don't post all the pictures, right? So, and you don't post all the series, maybe like from distance between us, for example,
Yep.
or single, or so you always, I mean, the title is just to put them in that folder. It has nothing to do with like, and these exhibitions will happen when they happen. Right now, there's, I mean, I don't think it's complete. I don't think it's complete
Okay.
for me. And a
Okay.
lot of people
I think
these
that
days,
that is a great good part. Like
till
I
the
read
time, till
somewhere
the,
के yeah I read somewhere के पूरी life artist यही सोचता रहता है and the day he think के उसने वो achieve कर लिया है, that is the end of his
yeah.
creativity
So
or
if, and I don't know what to do after that. If I
yeah
say, okay, this is complete, and I've
yeah
done an exhibition and I do a book, then what do I do after that?
yeah
I don't think
after
it's complete. For me, it's not complete. So once it's complete, I will definitely exhibit, and definitely there are more pictures which nobody has seen, because I don't see all my pictures, honestly. And I think I've told you, I don't take pictures and go and look at them. I don't do
yeah
that.
I got a chance, so I got a chance to see your iPhone gallery one day na? So you have so many photographs.
So
I know.
yeah. So maybe one day there will
ओके
be
तो
in a form of
आईफोन की
exhibition.
चलिए आईफोन की बात शुरू हुई है तो एक और क्वेश्चन मेरे पास ये आया था कि यू like you love to shoot a mobile as well street
Hmm.
photographs you have created
Hmm.
some really great
Hmm.
mobile street photographs and
जी.
mostly viewer भी हमें देखते हैं जो मेरे हमें फॉलो करते हैं mostly are mobile photographers these days so
Right.
how mobile is useful in street or you enjoy Leica more or iPhone now on a shooting not the brand shooting
Hmm.
point of shooting point of view
I like whatever I have in my hand. If I have the phone in my hand, I will take a picture with my phone. If I have the camera in my hand, I will take a picture with my camera. And I don't I don't go out that much. You know that. I mean, you
yeah
guys meet a
yep
lot.
mm,
I don't do this, like I don't go out every Sunday also, for that matter. So whatever device I have in my hand, I will take a picture. And it doesn't really matter. Pictures, it's about your sensibilities. If you can create a same kind of a picture from the phone and
phone
from your camera, if your
camera
sensibility is the same, right? If you're able to create like a picture that kind of looks like it's your picture, right? Then I don't really care what was used to create it. For me,
okay
you all cameras give great control these days.
okay
It's not about a brand really. So
mm-hmm.
phones also do the same thing. It's whatever is in your hand, and whatever you can afford. I think that's the best camera, and that's what you
Okay,
should do.
that's
Don't worry about the device. Don't
devices
worry
yeah
Yeah, don't worry about the pen that you're using.
yep
You have to write a poem.
yep
So, and that poem has to be printed. So it doesn't really matter what device you use. Is immaterial at this point. It, as long as it gives you all the possibilities. If it gives you all the possibilities, right? If it lets you, for example, like if you have to do astro and you take a lens which is not good for astro, it's
not
pointless,
yep
right? And if you
obviously
take, for example, if you take for example, if you take an iPhone, right, and you want to do astro, it's not going to do what you want to do with it. So
yep
so it's basically horses for courses. If you have a different course, then you have to take a different horse. So it's
yep
just like that. But whatever I have in my hand, I'm okay. Give me a
okay
camera. It doesn't, even if it's a pinhole camera. If I want to take a picture, if I like something, I'll just go for it and take a picture. It doesn't really matter.
That's great, sir. That's great. And I have seen your work. मैं मैंने बहुत सालों से आपका काम देखता आ रहा हूँ. You shoot colored as well, and you shoot black and white as well. So sometimes we get confused that which photograph would look good in a black and white and कौन सी colored में अच्छी लगेगी. So how you choose that thing? Like आपके दिमाग में पहले से होता है या I have seen your Leica camera, so आपका you shoot mostly with a black and white. आपका है या विनीत सर का है? It only
Yeah.
shoot black and white.
Yeah.
So
So it depends on my mood. And
okay.
I decide that, okay, I'm going to shoot black and white for some time, or black and white for a few months. It's not a decision that I take afterwards.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. On
So
the field.
I take it on the field. if I'm going to take a black and white picture or a colored picture. I decide that, and this comes from the fact that we've shot film. So you had only one camera, so you
Yeah.
could put a black and white film or a colored film. So
Colored
you
film.
had to
Yeah.
make a choice. You had to make a choice beforehand. There was no way, you could, because I mean, you had only one roll that you could use, and so you would take. For me, what I I mean, again, it's about the emotional connect that you have. It's about how you kind of the energy that it gives you, or the rawness that you get. I enjoy both. I enjoy both a lot. In fact, I enjoy black and white a lot, and there are times when I only do black and white, and then there is a time when I'd say, okay, let me just do color. I've done enough of black and white. I don't kind of, it's not a question of it looks better or not. It's not
Okay.
a afterthought. It's not an
Mm-hmm.
afterthought. It's not because maybe if I convert this into black and white, I can save this picture. It's not like that. You
Or
you kind of,
maybe it's your experience now that you know what will look good in a black and white. Maybe when you're shooting,
yeah,
you
when
already know.
you know the values,
Yeah, you know the
you know the
values. Yeah.
values, what is red going to be, what is
Yep. Yep.
yellow going to be, what is black going to be, and do I want this in a black and white or a colored scene. So you know the values, kind of. I don't know why my face is burning right now.
It's okay, sir, it's okay. So
Hmm.
ये क्वेश्चन विनीत सर से भी मैंने पूछा था, एक और
जी.
फीमेल फोटोग्राफर ने मेरे को भेजा था. What you thinks about using flash in street photography? Because many photographers these days are using
Hmm.
flash, and
Hmm.
without, as you said, most of the photographers they don't know why
Hmm.
the master photographers use flashes. So what
Hmm.
are your
Hmm.
views on that?
So I also used it. I did it as an experiment. I try everything. I have no boundaries. I
Yep.
will try everything. And if you want to be a purist, a pure street photographer, some people might say using flash is a problem because you are kind of disturbing the scene, or you're putting light by yourself. But the counter answer to that would be, uh, when you change your exposure in the camera, when you increase the speed, that you're also changing the moment.
Yep.
So it's a very personal choice. If you like that aesthetic, a lot of people take pictures with flash and they come out really well. But just as a gimmick, it doesn't work. I mean, if you're just
Okay.
using it as a gimmick, you can do it for a series. I mean, I would say if you want to do it, use it for a series, see how you like it. Do you like the aesthetic? Does it go with your other work? Does it go with, do you want to produce a body of work where you are going to use a flash? Or you're just going to use flash for like 3 pictures in your entire collection? It doesn't work. If you use
Okay.
flash, then use flash for some time, you
So
know.
make a full
And
series of it.
maybe make a full series out of it. I don't have a problem if you use Flash. Nobody should have a problem if
Okay.
you use a Flash. It's a
So
very
no, no.
personal.
So I think she's asking, it is not de-ethical to use flashes on the street.
Uh,
Unethical. Sorry, I'm
there there
sorry.
is there is there is no problem. There is no.
Okay.
I mean, ethics. Okay, ethics come. Ethics are very personal. Okay, my ethics will be different from yours or hers.
Yep. Yep.
I might not take a picture of something. I don't take pictures of beggars on the street, for example,
Yep. Yep.
right? It's my ethic. You want to
Yep.
take it, it's okay. I mean, but just remember why you want to do it. So if you're going to use a flash, just have a conscious thought process in your mind and think, why do you want to do it? Do you really want to do it? What is it going to achieve? Why do I want to do it? Do I really, I mean, if you like it a lot, then why not? You can do it.
So we came to the same thing, which जिससे हमने start किया था. Why and when? Why you want to do it?
Exactly.
It's all
Exactly.
about why.
It's all about
Okay.
why. There is nothing else.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
So I have seen, like, आपने starting में मेरे को prints भी दिखाए हैं अपनी photograph के. So how much it's like, this is my personal question because मुझे कई बार बोला जाता है, विकी भाई मेरे को कई बार बोलते हैं print करने के लिए. So how much it's important to print your photograph and see them?
Okay, for that, honestly, Nimit, you have to understand what a photograph is. A photograph is something that you hold in your hand, or you see it in a book, or you put it on the wall. What you're
Well,
seeing, what you're seeing on a computer screen is not a photograph.
yep.
It's a backlit image. you will be surprised that your pictures look so different when you print them that you'll be like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is not what I want, but it looks so different on the screen. If you haven't printed your pictures, then you don't know what or where you're going wrong. So I would say print regularly. Print regularly.
Okay.
And I mean,
not big, the small ones.
4x6,
Yeah.
like just
4
to
by
see
6.
this. How does it look? Does it work? Does it, like, you know, it's just, I print all the time whenever you have time. And this is a good time. If you have a break, you have a printer, just print pictures, pictures and see how they look. Otherwise, I mean, you can see it on the phone. It's a backlit image. It's very different. It's a LCD screen. You're not seeing a photograph. That's not a photograph.
And some photographs look good on a black and white. That's what I feel. कि कुछ photographs ऐसी होती हैं जो आप जब exhibitions में जाते हैं, they look good on the wall, but they don't look good.
That's also because of the size. They also look good because of the size.
Yes. Oh yes.
Because they're big, they're larger than life. So you have seen them 2 inch by 3 inch on an Instagram screen. So it makes a lot of difference, and you will realize. And that's you know, a lot of times people ask me, like, about art, for example. Why is that art so good? I mean, I don't get it. The point is, you haven't seen that painting in real life. You know, paintings are supposed to be, you know, you go to a gallery, painting is on the wall, and you stand at a distance and you see it.
At a distance. Yeah.
It is supposed to be viewed like that. It's not supposed to be 2 by 3 on a iPhone screen. It's not supposed to be like that. That's the thing.
Okay. So exhibition की बात आई है तो एक और I think गरिमा ने मुझसे क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि where can Indian street photographers exhibit their work in India?
In India?
Yeah.
There are so many places.
Or world.
Well, you can
Ma'am,
exhibit anywhere in the world.
I think she is asking where they can submit their street photographs, maybe.
There are so many galleries. Galleries. Get in touch with, and this is a good time, right? You can find addresses, you can find their email addresses, and write to them and send them. Don't send them all your portfolio, okay? That's a big mistake. Send them some pictures, you know, small JPEG saying
best 5.
Yeah, top five pictures, and say, okay, this is the body of work that I'm producing, and I would like to exhibit so and so date, and, you know, can I have the gallery available? So sometimes the gallery will say, okay, we will do it for free, right? You get your prints and we'll do it for free. Sometimes they will say, okay, pay for the gallery space and you can do it. It depends on, maybe initially you'll have to pay and get in, you know, to the gallery. And later on, I mean, if your work sells, then galleries will be happy to exhibit your work because they make commission. And they take about 30%, depending on what you can, I mean, the decision that you guys come up to with the gallery.
Yeah, the same thing.
But there's so many galleries.
Yeah, the same thing Vicky said yesterday, that some galleries charge and some galleries will find कि आपका काम इतना अच्छा है कि they love to exhibit your work. Exactly.
But there is no limit. I mean, you can go anywhere and exhibit your work. If it's good, if your work is good, then every gallery in the world will want to exhibit your work. If it is not up to the
mark, that is a main
again
question.
Subjective.
How you will decide?
Subjective. It's
Maybe
very
not,
subjective.
I'm not asking you. How I can
I
judge.
get your question. Find a mentor.
Okay.
Find somebody who can teach you. Find somebody who you really respect, whose work you really admire, and you go to them and you say,
especially the same genre.
Exactly. If you have street work, show it to a street photographer. If you have astro, show it to astro. If you have wildlife, show it to any wildlife photographer, and kind of say, you can introduce yourself. Now, I mean, Instagram it's easy. You can just write to them. At some point, they will reply to you and say, okay, this is okay. Maybe you should do this. Maybe don't do this, right? So, and you get, I mean, if you have a mentor, he can guide you in which direction you need to go. But it's important to find a mentor because he acts as a guide. He acts as a guide for you. And it saves you a lot of time and energy. If you're going to do it yourself, it's like writing your own ABC. It's very difficult. You're not going to be able to do it. It'll take you too much time. But if you know, these days, just write to a photographer and say, okay, can you help me out? I'm trying to do this. Do you think this is worth it? You know, can I do this? Can you help me out? Yeah, that's how you reach to any gallery or any magazine or any kind of publication. That's what you do. Just send them your work and see if they like. If the curator of that gallery likes it, and your mentor can put you through to that. It's wonderful. I mean, there's no
That's cool.
easily can be done.
Yep, that's cool. Because एक क्वेश्चन ये है कि बिकॉज सो आई हैव सीन सो मेनी फोटोग्राफर्स आजकल के लाइक आई थिंक विनीत सर ने भी सेम चीज कही थी, विक्की रॉय ने भी सेम चीज कही थी कि आजकल के फोटोग्राफर्स बहुत जल्दी सक्सेस चाहते हैं, दे डोंट वांट टू स्पेंड मोर टाइम ऑन द फील्ड. सो because you and Vineet sir are doing street photography from so many years, there are ways to earn through street photography or not? Like only street, not, I'm not asking the other earning.
See, people do buy street photographs. Okay, there was a time when magazines wanted them. Magazines don't want to pay you these days. They would rather have all the work for free. They don't want to pay you, right? That's one thing. Now, you could find a curator, or like we said, we could do exhibitions and sell your work, right? That's one way. And the other way to earn from street photography is that somebody finds you and he likes your work and he says, create a campaign for me, and he gives you the liberty. You know, they come to you as a brand, or like you do a lot of commercial work, right? And in that, some clients will tell you, Nimit, I just want you to do whatever you like, right? And there'll be some clients who will say, I want this.
I want this.
So and then you pick and choose. So if you want to do only street,
and some clients will change after knowing your perspective. Like when we were shooting in Murshidabad, so the after telling, after आपने और विनीत सर ने जब बताया, तो they changed the whole campaign.
Exactly.
Because they understand what is that. Yeah.
Exactly. So you do get, I mean, you can make money. It's not, I mean, it's not something where you can't make money, but you have to be really good.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're not good, good, you have to be top 25, top 20 people in the world, not just your country. So if you can do that, then yes, people will find you and they will say, do this kind of work, and they will give you assignments where they will give you all the freedom and say, okay, do this. For example, like we were talking about Apple, like, you know, they said, do whatever you want. You don't have to kind of do what we want. This is the phone, create whatever you want with it. It's just that.
Okay.
So you do get.
Okay, great. I have seen your iPhone printed photographs on a banners, like hoardings, big hoardings. So Prashant asked, is editing allowed in street photography? If yes, then what type of editing? I think he's talking about Photoshop editing.
Processing.
Is not
processing. He's talking about processing.
Yeah, processing, not that.
Just to tell him and make this clear for everybody, editing in street photography means selection. When you make a selection out of 10 pictures, you edit and you select. That's called editing. And what I think he's talking about is processing, post-processing. So keep it minimum. Keep it to, if you're spending more than 5 minutes on a picture in street, right? If you're spending more than 5 minutes, means you're going wrong. You would rather have those 5 minutes on the street and take more pictures. Because your work is to do it then and there. You want to fix something, you want the light that you want, you do it in the viewfinder. Don't come back and see, oh, I'll fix this. Because that's not how street is done.
And maybe that's why most of the photographs rejected from the international photography contest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example because I judge so many competitions. I will ask for a raw file. I will see you edit it.
So many international contests ask raw file. Yeah.
They will ask for a raw file. They will ask for a raw file, and then you are screwed because you don't know. I mean, you've changed it so much that you're like, oh shit, this was this. Okay, so I try to keep it at the minimum post processing. That you're not spending time on it. That you don't have to be an expert in it. You just maybe like manage the colors a little bit and maybe sharpen it because you have to post it on a smaller format. Rest is okay. I mean, you don't have to go like, oh, let me make this red a little more red and yellow a little more yellow. That doesn't work. You know, it's not important.
Okay. So are you a fisher or a hunting photographer? What kind of category you are?
I would say both. Because sometimes sometimes you find a location, right? Sometimes you find a background and you're like, okay, I'm going to wait here till I find what I want,
Perfect.
right?
Yeah, perfect light or perfect subject.
Exactly. Either, yeah, you're waiting for the perfect subject to walk in your scene, right? And sometimes you have the subject and you just kind of like, uh, you see it. You see that, okay, that's what I wanted. I mean, I can see the scene. I want to just go there and take a picture. So you can't be just one as a street photographer, because sometimes you'll be attracted to the background. Sometimes you'll be attracted, and sometimes you'll just see, I mean, sometimes you wait for like 50 minutes for a shot, right? And sometimes you get a shot in 5 minutes. So
Yeah,
sometimes
perfect.
you have to hunt, sometimes you have to fish. as you as long as you have to come home with a good catch. So it doesn't
Okay.
matter if you fished or you went hunting. As long as you get something to eat on that day, you have to get something to eat.
Okay, so let me add a question on this part. Like, how much you think observing a things is important in street photography? Like, I have seen your camel wala shot, pushkar wala shot, that कि वो
Correct.
लड़की एक रूट के ऊपर चल रही है. So मैगी
Hmm.
observe करना कई मैगी starting में सिर्फ observe करना is helpful or not? Because I have seen people go out
It's
and they
very
start
important.
clicking, click, 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 click. They don't observe the environment. So
See, I think it's the key. If you can't observe, and I would say, if you're starting out, take pictures without the camera. Just go out and see the scene, and be like, okay, that's my frame. This is my frame. Oh, this is beautiful. Don't think that you have a tool in your hand and you have to take a picture. You learn observation. Pay attention. Pay attention to detail. Pay attention to, oh, like if I bend down, this will happen. If I go up, this will happen. If I move left, right, what will happen? So observation is the key. If you can't observe things, if you can't, street photography, requires a lot of intuition. Like, what will happen next? And
what will
for
happen
example,
next?
you're talking about that photograph where that girl is on the camel thing.
Yep, yep, yep.
What you don't see is also that that girl is moving, because she's not still, she is moving. The camel is still a
Yeah.
little bit, but the girl is jumping. So you have to also time it. You have to be like, where do I stand that girl comes right at that point and she's not up or down. If the legs are cut,
Oh.
then it won't make sense. If it's too up, it won't make sense. So you kind of timing it, that because she's on a tightrope, right? So she's going up and down like that. So you're also trying to observe when she will come and touch that part where you want it to be. So if you don't observe, and if you don't see, and if you don't form relationships, right? If you don't find a, if you can't discover that, right? Then you can't, then you're not creating anything on your own. I mean, you're letting, like, I mean, then it's a snapshot. It's not a great picture then. You just like kind of
Okay.
catch and just take a picture. You're not observing. You don't have a viewpoint. If you don't have a viewpoint, then, or
So
you have
maybe
nothing new
might
to
be
show.
so might be you are shooting for the social media only, not
Exactly.
for yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Uh, Garima asks your favorite place in India where you love to shoot streets more.
Two places. One is obviously Varanasi,
Oh,
and the other
Banaras,
and Banaras, and the other one is Calcutta. I love both
Calcutta.
these places.
I
I
know
love
Calcutta
both.
is coming. I know Calcutta is coming.
So if, like, for example, if whenever this lockdown opens, and I had told somebody that the first place I will go is Calcutta, because I love Calcutta. I was in Calcutta recently, and it's one of the most charming places. It is in a, I mean, it transforms you. It takes you to a different kind of a time zone, which is so beautiful. I love the aesthetic. I love the colors. And
It's
Varanasi,
still
again,
vintage. I think
Varanasi.
it's the both places are still
Both
vintage, like
places, both
old,
places,
old.
old world charm. It has a
Oh, yeah,
old world charm. It
yeah,
has, so basically the whole city is like old Delhi, because it's got,
yeah.
so you can shoot anywhere, and the people are
Anyway,
nice, and people are nice, and people are so
yep.
nice in both places, Varanasi and Calcutta. People are so nice. They're nice to you, and obviously, if you're coming to India for the first time, I would say go to Varanasi for sure. Varanasi is something you need to see. And
Yep,
then
yep.
Calcutta. And obviously, then we have our Delhi. I mean, Delhi is our home ground. So
Mm.
you have, so you obviously love your home ground. And
Yep.
I mean, you, like, you know, you enjoy it because you've grown up there and you've seen it change over the years. So Delhi is also like, I must have shot Delhi a lot, but these are the places that I really enjoy. But there are new places that I haven't been to, which I intend to go. And I mean, you know, there are cities, there's so many places. India is huge. So it's difficult to
Yeah.
put like, okay, these are the places that I want to go to, or there are hundreds of cities in India.
Yeah. Okay. Murtaza asked, do you try to be invisible on the street, or is that not a big deal? How aware are the subjects of you as a photographer?
So the idea is always to be invisible. I mean, if you're not invisible, you're going to disturb the scene. You know, it's like when you go, it's like entering the water without disturbing the flow. So you're getting into the scene, but you're also making sure that they don't know about it.
Oh, okay.
So you are, it's very important that you're invisible. If you're not invisible, then you would have disturbed the scene and the emotion, or, you know, you know, in India, like people are going to start smiling, or they're going to start laughing, or they're going to start asking questions from you. So you have to make sure you take a picture before that, you know?
Yep.
So you try to be invisible. So this is, so this is, among other things which have come from China, this is a new thing which has come. So a lot of Asian countries, in fact, just, I mean, you know, that sign comes up, and
not just in India. Okay.
it's a Asian thing. Everyone says, like, you know, just that it comes on. So you try to be invisible and try to, like, make sure that you don't disturb the scene. It's very critical that you don't, you know, I mean, there's no noise. You know, you don't produce any noise. You kind of going there close to them, take a picture and go. I mean, you know, it's like stealing.
And also not wearing the fancy clothes.
You try to wear, I mean, the idea is mostly we try to wear black so that it's lost. It's lost in the background, you know. If you're wearing black, you don't get noticed so much. If you can see, if on the screen right now, people will be able to see you more because you're wearing red.
Yeah.
Right? And see me less because I'm being invisible a little bit.
Great.
Yeah. So you try to be invisible. It's something you learn as a street photographer, you know. It's like, because you're stealing the scene.
Yep. We only have a 7.5 minute more. So Sebi asks, Raj, which is your favorite city in Rajasthan?
My favorite city in Rajasthan would be Jodhpur, because I've shot a lot in Jodhpur. I love the colors. I've shot Jaipur, Jodhpur, Bikaner, Udaipur, a lot of other cities, but I enjoy Jodhpur. Jodhpur has a great vibe. Jodhpur has, because it has a great vibe. And incidentally, it's also the last city that we shot before everything went to a lockdown.
What I feel near the fort इतना अच्छा नहीं है. अगर आप market और उसके पीछे वाले area में चले,
absolutely. We don't. In fact, I've been to the fort only once. I mean, I've never been to the fort after that. I don't enjoy that area close to the fort. The city is so beautiful. The people are so beautiful. The markets are so beautiful. The Jodhpur market is so beautiful. And I have a lot of friends there. So Jodhpur is, it's always fun to shoot there. Culturally, it's so beautiful. Even, I mean, the whole state is very beautiful. You know, Rajasthan, very colorful, very, it has a very travel vibe to it, because everyone dresses up in, I mean, you'll see women in neon sarees, you know, orange, yellow, bright colors, which is only
parrot color, that parrot color.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is a very beautiful kind of vibe to that whole state. Jodhpur is my favorite if I had to pick one from there.
Okay. Two more questions. Last two questions. What is the future of street photography? This question I'm asking to everyone. Yeah. Or street photography हटा के मैं change कर रहा हूँ. Documentary street photography.
Okay. What is the future? So
our future is a street photography.
See, street photography is always going to be there. I think the definition might keep changing. You know, when it started, it actually was taking pictures of people on the street.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what street photography was. You would take a street photographer was a guy who would take his 8x10 camera, put it on a street and take pictures. That was street photography, right? The definitions keep changing. Right now, if you see, it's more of juxtaposition right now. You know, how you find relationships between things. Maybe 5, 10, 20 years from now, it'll be about emotions. We don't know. The
Emotions, yeah.
world is the world is changing, and it's changing now because of what has happened in the world. I think people will change. I think the street
Yep.
will also change. Uh, we don't know what is going to be the future. I mean, nobody knows what is going to be the future, but photography as a genre, I mean, street photography as a genre will survive because
Mhm.
it has the most access. You know, you don't need too much. You don't need a model. You don't need a prop. You don't need anything. You just need a camera. You go out and you can take pictures. So, and that's why it is so accessible, right? You just go out and take pictures. So because it's so accessible, I think it'll survive. It'll survive through anything.
Okay.
I mean, we are
So
hopeful that this lockdown is over and people can go out and we can see people
hopefully
on the
soon.
streets.
Hopefully soon.
Yes,
Yeah, hopefully
yes,
soon.
yes.
सो लास्ट क्वेश्चन पूछने से पहले एक और मैं ऐड करता हूँ क्योंकि मेरे पास सिर्फ 4 मिनट बाकी है. फेवरेट इंडियन फोटोग्राफर, स्ट्रीट फोटोग्राफर. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द मास्टर्स ऑब्वियसली.
Raghuveer Singh. I would say
Raghuveer Singh.
Raghuveer Singh.
I was expecting that reply.
Yeah, Raghuveer Singh. I would say, and I would say he's one of the best photographers I would say in the world. I mean,
Yep.
not just India. He's his work. I mean, you see his work and you will be inspired. Like his books, they
His
will inspire
framing,
you.
his book, everything.
Exactly. His whole sense of design, just where subject is, the composition and everything, the color, the tones, the aesthetics. I think he's one of the photographers which I feel is very underrated because I would say I would
Yeah,
place
very
him
underrated. Yeah, yes, yes.
I would place him at the top in the world. People know him, but people don't know his work, right? I
Yeah.
mean, people don't
I
know his
think that
work.
I think I feel same with the Espulsar as well, I think.
Exactly. I feel the same. I mean, Senior Paul sir, I mean, his work is probably which shaped the street or shaped the fine art work in India, I would say.
Yep.
And
Okay.
very underrated, I would say. They
Yep.
deserve much more. They deserve, I mean, people need to see their work, especially this generation needs to see the work
Yep. Yep.
and get
Yep. Yep.
inspired.
Inspired. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Last 2.5 minutes. One suggestion you would like to give to the beginner photographers. One tip.
One tip. Can it be more than one tip?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Be
All
patient.
yours.
Be patient. Be patient. I would say be patient. Be authentic. Pay attention, and be patient because don't put a timeline. Don't say I want to be a successful photographer when I'm 25.
Yep.
Don't say I want to be a successful photographer when I'm 35. You're trying. If you want to be a successful photographer, just say I want to be a successful photographer. Don't put a
Photographer. Yeah.
timeline because once you put a timeline, then you cut corners. Then you're not willing to put the hard work. You're just thinking, oh, I'm like, I just want to do this.
Yes, yes.
Don't mimic. I think it happens a lot, and you know this, and I know you didn't want to touch this
Yep.
controversial thing. People mimic art, and people kind of so try to be original. Don't try to mimic other photographers. It's a very so. Nimit, there's what happens is, and this happens a lot with any creative field. People try to mimic because they want to be accepted. It's nothing wrong. They want to be accepted, and they feel, oh, if I take this picture, this has already done well, so let me just take this. Like, be original.
I said even I said getting inspired is not bad, but copying someone is bad. We all get inspired with a great photographer.
If you have to copy, you copy nature or what nature has to offer. Don't try to copy kind of somebody's already done that work. So don't try to do that because that's not going to take you anywhere. It's just you're going to be a copy end of the day. You don't want to do that. Be patient. Because success will come if you put in the hard work. There is no kind of, if you don't put in the hard work and you're expecting results, it's not going to happen. It's just,
Oh, okay.
and just look for happiness in photography. Okay.
Last 15 seconds, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming up. बाकी 1 घंटा मुझे
Thank
पता
you.
नहीं चला, अभी क्वेश्चंस खत्म हुए नहीं लोगों के, they are
Thank you so
running.
much.
So thank you
And
so much, sir.
thank you,
I'll
Jay.
see
Thank
you
you.
soon. Let me invite him again. Uh, let me invite Vinny sir again, because Rohit sir again, because he was saying something and बीच में timer off हो गया. कहाँ है रोहित सर? सर ऑनलाइन आ जाओ. Just give me a minute. Let me invite him. Rohit sir, yeah. So sorry,
Ji.
sir. Instagram अपने आप काट देता है. So you can end. I will keep this.
No, I was just saying, try to find happiness with your photography. Like, it's not about success. It's about happiness. And success doesn't always equate to happiness.
Yep.
So
Okay.
if your purpose is to be happy with your photographs, you don't have to compare yourself to anybody. You don't have to compare your work to anybody. I think that's where we fail. And that's why a lot of people kind of miss the point, because they always end up comparing themselves to other photographers and
Other photographers. Yeah.
likes and dislikes and followers and stuff. I don't think that is important. Just
Important.
just do original work and try to be happy. Try to find happiness. That is the key. That is the key to life.
Yeah, that is the main purpose. Yeah.
Sure.
You should know that why you are shooting. You are shooting for yourself first, then for
Absolutely.
the others. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
Cheers.
And cheers,
Cheers.
sir. मेरी चाय भी ठंडी हो गई है. Thank you
Mary,
so much,
this
sir.
is our favorite
लिमका?
drink. Nimit Limka.
लिमका?
Yeah.
मैं भी वही पी रहा हूँ.
Cheers.
Thank you
Cheers.
so much, sir.
Cheers.
See you soon,
Take
sir,
care.
after
Thank you.
coronavirus.
Thank you.
Take care, sir.
Thank
Bye bye,
you.
sir.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.